Welcome, everyone. Welcome as we're joining in. Gonna give it probably about a minute or two, gentlemen, for everyone to join us.
It is Webinar Wednesday.
Webinar Wednesday. I have a fancy cup of tea here. It's a fancy Webinar Wednesday, I think.
Reef, how are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. It's almost Friday. That's how I look at
Living
it.
the dream.
There you
You and
go.
Alex both. What is up with that? Every time I say, "Hey guys, it's Wednesday," you say, "Yeah," which means it's almost Friday.
Alex is
Sunday is
Alex.
our time. Thank you all for joining us. We have plenty of attendance in here, jumping in here now. Tim, what are we going to be covering today?
You know what? We're going to dive in a little bit from a high level and then get as granular as we need to. I want to make sure we have plenty of time for some Q&A as well, but everybody in attendance, I want to hit this right square on, and that is from a perspective of service levels or experience, and what is the best path for loan originators to get answers to different questions. And so we're going to demonstrate today a couple of different things. Alex and Reef, I believe, as part of our follow-up, like we do every webinar, we'll also be including some of these resource materials. And
Mhm.
I don't know how better else to explain it, everybody, other than it's good news, bad news. Good news is that the service levels, if you will, or loan level questions. Um, we've gotten so busy that if I'm being honest, completely transparent, there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Longer wait times on the phone, maybe slower response times on emails. So first and foremost, I'll acknowledge that that's a real concern, but more importantly, acknowledge that it's also our number one focus right now. And Alex and Reef, you can openly admit to everybody on this call that since last week, every single meeting we have as a team, this is number one on our to-do list. Would you agree?
Absolutely. That is all we are talking about. That's all we're focusing on for the most part right now.
So we're working on trying to find ways to enhance some of these things. By the way, I might add, we also want additional feedback from all of you. In other words, what do you think? How could we further enhance our existing process where maybe you wouldn't have to pick up the phone and call or have to email the wholesale support or white label support? And we're going to show you some of those things here in just a second. But first and foremost, Alex and Reef, if you could, let's dive in and let's talk about the resources we currently have right now today for loan officers to dive in. And you guys, right within the lead portal, we have a thing called the Sales Success Center, right?
That is absolutely correct. So there is going to be a help and support section on Lead Portal itself. Now, when you click on that, that is going to show you all the help and support options we are offering to you as, I would say, for kind of like a partnerage right there in the Lead Portal. I'm also going to be showing you stuff outside of the Lead Portal. And again, I'm going to be sending an email later on to all of those in attendance with these resources we're going to be covering. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This is going to be our success center that we are more or less been working on. We are building out. This maybe have been the way that you went ahead and found out about this webinar, in fact. So this is something that you should really stay on top of. This is more or less our hub as the Sales Success Center. One big place I would like to point out is going to be the Sales Success Studio here at the top tab. This is a link over to our YouTube channel. You are going to find past recordings of all these webinars. That is a terrible thumbnail myself. I'm honestly a bit upset by that. And you're also going to see some great videos by Tim himself posting in there. So if you haven't already, really subscribe to that YouTube channel. Stay on top of it. Tim does some really, really great shorts. So do other members of our team. And again, you will find all the recordings. It just gives me a little, I have a little time where I process it, I put it on there. And then the other great resource is the Sales Success newsletter.
Hey, Alex,
Mhm.
real quick before you jump over to the newsletter, and I love everything you're demonstrating. I want to make a couple comments. Number one, this Sales Success Center is also constantly evolving. You'll see some changes here. So
Mhm.
it's a good idea outside of getting emails or attending webinars to every now and again, just click on it and explore, have some fun. Dare I say, you can't break this. But to these videos and to your highlight of the YouTube channel here, Alex, it's really important. Like as an example, we did a whole series on income verification, where we focused on
Mhm.
all of the different aspects to verify income. Do you need to watch it every day? Absolutely not. Is it a must watch? Absolutely, because it'll help you get a better understanding of setting the right expectation with your homeowners, your borrowers, and so on and so forth. So there's great content there. So know that that's just a great resource. All right. Sorry, Alex, for the interruption.
No, I think it's really important too, right? All these webinars, we've done a lot of them. This is something where, again, you'll find all the recordings on our YouTube. You can watch past for them and, past webinars and their topics. And again, to Tim's point, we're going to build out on this. Not to really spoil anything, but again, this has been a topic of conversation we're heavily doing. We are going to be building out that help and support section on Lead Portal more, as well as the Success Center as well. What was I talking about? The newsletter? Sign up to the
Newsletter. We
newsletter.
were
That's
headed to
really
the
what I'm trying to say.
newsletter.
Sign
Yes.
up to the newsletter. All of our information is going to be coming through the newsletter as well. Again, this may be how you found out and registered for this webinar. We do a specific letter for the webinar. The newsletter is for all of our up-to-date information. We are constantly changing. We have new things in the works. We have a couple new features coming out here in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. And again, stay tuned for the Success Center. You can find that directly, a link to that under the help and support section on Lead Portal.
Yeah. In fact, Alex, I don't know if you have it readily available, but could you just bring up a screenshot of Lead Portal and show where the Sales Success Center is there in the bottom left corner? Just want to make sure that everyone knows.
You read my mind. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up for all of us. Just a few fun little buttons I have to press. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. So on Lead Portal itself, let me go ahead and share my screen again. You're going to have this help and support button here at the bottom left. Ignore my little demo tool showing me chapters. Help and support is where you're going to be able to see direct resources. You're going to see the link for the Sales Success Center and any other information that we host in there. What's important about this, back to Tim's point, we are looking to build this out. We're going to build more under help and support. We're going to be building more into Lead Portal itself. So this is not something to check and go, maybe that's something you look at now and go, maybe I don't need that today. Keep checking this tab down here, right? Something you do have to click on, but it is a good way to link over to the Success Center. So check the, help and support tab, check the Success Center as well.
Everybody and team here, something that's being worked on now as we sit here and speak. In fact, I just came from a meeting on this topic to this webinar. Our marketing team is currently working on building our resource drive materials. Alex is really leading the charge here, cleaning up some of those resource materials, and we are trying to build it to where those resource materials will be available also right within Lead Portal. So definitely keep an eye there on that bottom left of the screen in the Sales Success Center. And of course, we'll talk about it once it's live, but we really are trying to find ways to prevent the need for you to be calling and prevent the need for you to be emailing in. Now, will it cure it 100%? Of course not. And we want to help and support where we can. So let's talk about that here for a little bit, Alex. You and I and Reef, we have shared plenty of days where we're fielding calls, emails, and some of them are very, very simple, right? Like, hey, I'm trying to check the status on my file. Hey, I don't understand. My borrower's stuck in income verification. Hey, the ID didn't upload. So what is the instruction? What is our best advice when those things? Reef, I'm actually going to throw this on your plate here a little quick. Share with everybody in attendance what that path looks like for getting those answers. What's the first thing they should advise the homeowner when those instances come up?
Yeah, so if I just take a quick step back right before I give that advice, is you as a loan originator, you're always going to want to be helpful. You're always going to want to help your clients, take care of them. Of course, we're in the business of helping people. 100% agreed. But you're probably going to have clients that fall into one or two buckets. One are going to be ones that are tech savvy. They're very good with computers. They understand how processes work. They understand how browsers work, how different platforms work. They can connect their accounts. They're very tech savvy. The other ones might not be so much. So, once you realize who you are working with, I think you can then really strategize the best way to support them. So, in short, probably the fastest, most efficient way to get an application status update from a borrower perspective would be to use the chat feature that's located in the application portal itself. The borrower has access to that, but they'll be able to speak to an agent way quicker most of the time than when they're making a phone call, essentially.
So, Reef, you're great. And by the way, I almost interrupted you there because I wanted to clarify that that chat function lives on the borrower application portal, right? Not the lead portal. Maybe someday we'll have the chat feature for the LOs, but until then, I love that. So, this is really, really important for me. Again, having a lot of years of experience as a loan originator, what I can share with everybody, and everybody in attendance certainly will get this as I say it. When you do the inquiry, when you have a borrower that's getting ready to accept their offers and navigate, I can't stress enough how important it is to set the expectation of the borrower. In regards to support, what do I mean by that? I want to encourage us all as loan originators to make sure that not only we're reviewing what the offer is that they're about to see with the homeowner, but also let them know, listen, please note, once you click to accept your offers, if at any time you run into any concerns or hiccups or disconnects, or you have any questions, first use the chat function. Set that expectation of your borrower first. That will also prevent them needing to call you. We all want to provide the level of support, but we also got to, and I sometimes hate using this word, but we got to approach it from a scalable perspective, right? So it starts with the LO, set the expectation with your borrower, make sure they're aware of what the experience is going to be and how they can quickly use that chat function. And hey, they also have a phone number they can call. Is that right, team?
That is absolutely right. Each partner has a different phone number, as well as, again, there's that chat functionality. So this is something to keep in mind that for the borrower, there is a phone number listed on the application at all times. It's the very top. They can always call in, as well as, again, just like to Tim's point, there is that chat functionality. If you ever need to know what that phone number is, number one, check internally. Your admins do have those resources usually on an intranet, or they can provide it to you. If you need to, you can reach out to the sales success team, us, and we'll be able to also provide you those direct links over to our operations team where the borrower can call in. But path of least resistance is, again, the borrower calling or chatting in, getting quick answers, or just saying, hey, just did the application. Can we go ahead and expedite this over to notary? Something of that nature. But just know those phone numbers and email addresses are going to be readily available for the borrower and for yourselves.
That's awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to throw a wrench into it. This is a test for you, Alex and Reef, based on all of our recent conversations on this topic. I'm a loan originator, and my borrower has reached out to me, and this inevitably happens. That's a good thing, right? So now the loan originator needs some additional help. This is the loan originator wanting to know what the status is on a file, or the loan originator is concerned because they haven't been able to get an ID uploaded and cleared. And who should they reach out to?
They should, number one, directly reach out. I would say first internally. And here's the big thing to me, right? Is that your admins, your AEs, they have direct links over to kind of our own dedicated support teams to them. This is where you can say, hey, just depending on your internal structure, can you go ahead and check on this for me going through? The other thing that can happen here in these situations is, again, going back to the borrower can call or chat in, because again, directly their application, they can just say, hey, what's going on here? Same thing. If you have a phone number, the phone number or email, you can also call or email in. And then they, over at the operations team that we have, can also provide you the same information to give you an update on your borrower's file.
Take it one step further, just to add to that, a common misconception that we probably don't mention enough is that individuals think the chat is AI or it is an automated answering portal. You're actually speaking to live agents who are the same agents you would be speaking to if you called in. So not only can they speak to you as a live human, but they can also work on the application in real time, look at it, give you updates, process things. So the resources and the support are evolving always, and there will be updates. We'll refine it in the future, but this is going to be the fastest way than just
So,
sending an email out, of course.
Reef, I love that comment or the deeper look into that chat functionality. So talk to me, what are the hours of chat, Reef?
Yeah, so our ops team works 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. I harp this all the time. There's so much support, even extended support now. So 6 in the morning Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. 7 days a week minus federal holidays. That's pretty unprecedented, right? In terms of banking, financial support, things like that. They're really there to take care of you guys. So use them, lean on them, utilize them.
So then going back, Alex, to your response to my initial question was, by the way, you got the answer right. So congratulations, Alex.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Good, good, good. Because I'm terrible at school. That's why I talk for a living.
I somehow doubt that, by the way, that you were terrible at school. But nonetheless, the LO is at a point, the borrower's tried using the chat function, the borrower tried calling in, the borrower is frustrated. By the way, fully transparent, that's going to happen, right? And I don't actually care where you're doing a loan. Borrowers are going to get frustrated from time to time. That is not a specific thing to figure. That's a specific thing to the industry, if I'm being honest. So they reach out where you made comment that they should first reach out to their internal points of contact. And Reef, prior to this call, you'd sent me a message, and I think it's a great point. If for some reason you're on this webinar and whomever you're working with, you don't know who your company's point of contact is, Reef, are you good with them reaching out to Sales Success to get that? Yeah. So to clarify, we have we can't post it, right? Because it's it's partner after partner after partner. But we have the points of contact listed, and as well points of contact sales leadership listed on our contact list. And we're more than happy if you reach out to us at the salessuccess@figure.com email. We'll be able to tell you who your point of contact is. Now, why is this important? It's important because what this team is really focused on doing is helping you further engage to build more business, engage with our platform. Remember, in fact, in our little sticker here up at the top, it says process, product, success. We want to help folks understand the process that results in the product, which today is a HELOC. And as a result, we'll all see success. Most importantly, all of you. So what does that look like? Well, if we're fielding calls on what's the status of a loan, my ID didn't pass upload. Hey, I'm not quite sure why my borrower is stuck on income verification. Those are all good questions. However, we have to direct them back to our ops team for that. And this is where we're constantly evolving. We're taking another big leap. What we've been doing so far has worked to some extent, right? However, it's a scalability thing. And so we're having to address this head on. Now I'm going to flip the script. Now I'm a loan officer, Alex, and I reach out to Sales Success and I say, listen, I don't quite understand the system. I'm putting this stuff in here, but I'm not getting any offers. Is there anything I'm missing or disconnecting? Now what do we do?
That is exactly where I would say we come into play. And that's something where I've done a lot of really sessions myself and Reef included. This is where if you want to get us, to really be educated on the system, I have a session scheduled with the loan officer tomorrow to discuss income verification and how to better, really talk to their borrowers about it. That's where we come into play. Branch calls, team meetings. I do ongoing training sessions with some partners monthly. This is for something that are for new hires. This is for new updates, right? New products, anything of that nature. This is where we come into play. So we are the support for education, for strategy, for advice. We are always happy to help there to really just say, hey, this is where we say, let's talk about this from a strategy perspective, or let's talk about this from a training perspective. We'll do a demo, even if you want to.
Yes, and
do like
that's the right answer. Go ahead, Reef.
I just want to add to that. We're in a very unique position on our team because we get to speak to all the partners. We get to see what they're doing, what's working, what branches are doing well, what branches are not doing well. Why is the funding really high on this team, but not so much on this team? We get to speak with them and we get to see insights, right? We get to see what works, what doesn't work, what's trending, what's not trending, what's the market doing. So we don't gatekeep any of that information. We will share that with you. So bring us on to your monthly calls or your quarterly calls. We'll tell you what we're seeing in the industry from our side, and maybe that there's some things that we can, show you that you may not have thought of, and it in turn results in better success for you. So.
Reef, it's a great point, and I just want to share this quick story for everybody, and it's real. It happened this week. I want to say it was, I don't know, Reef, you got me up and going at 6 a.m. our time. Was that yesterday morning? That was yesterday. That's how early ago it was. But here's an example I want to give for everybody. A loan originator had reached out to our team to find out some ins and outs, some process related and product related questions for their sales team that they had just recently onboarded. That conversation then led Reef to scheduling with one of the sales leaders of this partner to invite us onto a call that they have, inviting both realtors and their LOs onto a standing webinar. And they had us come on to that call as a guest for about, I don't know, about the first 30 minutes, would you say, Reef? It was so powerful because now we were talking with the referral partners of said LOs and the LOs themselves. We were having conversations about strategies, using Alex's terms there, strategies with how can they help navigate and build more business. It was a huge success. The feedback was fantastic. And that, everybody, that's what we want to do. We want to do that across the board for as many partners as have interest in the process, the product, and success. So really, and I know this maybe sounds a little corny me saying it. It's like, and if you call right now, I'll throw in an extra. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that.
Right. But that's really where we want to focus and spend our time. Even if it starts with one LO in a session regarding process and product, that could ultimately lead to larger calls, all done from a perspective of supporting our partners and better engagement and adoption of the process. So.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, right? I mean, some people on this call are probably on the retail side. Of course, you guys have the advantage of having a link, for example, right? And you might be building your business without even ever meeting or talking to an individual. But
Yeah.
let's say they're not getting any offers, for example. Are you going in and looking at the details of that file? Did they put in the right income? Did you see maybe they put in $5,000 for their income? Well, the system looks at that as what they make for the whole year instead of maybe $60,000. Those are just little refinements that we see because we see declined files. We'll go look at them and we'll see, well, the income's not right. The address wasn't put in correctly, et cetera, et cetera. So there are just little tweaks that we can provide you because we have the insight of the data and also from the other partners.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Any additional advice there, Alex, in regards to on the topic of support and really loan level support? So just know we're working on basically not an autoresponder with our sales success box. We're not going down that road, but we are looking to add, the team, Reef in particular, is working on right now, some verbiage that we will have in our emails that you get back from us, some clear direction as to what your path is. And so I want to break it up: loan level concerns, questions, help, versus process questions and help, and the same with product. So we're trying to draw a line there so that we can actually, I know it sounds crazy, but better service our partners and their LOs and sales teams. Whereas dealing with the loan level stuff, when in fact we have an ops team that's constantly evolving and growing, by the way. Had a great meeting with vice president of ops and a director of ops yesterday, talking about this very topic, like where can we improve? We're onboarding some new folks. So know that it's a top priority for us. Know that there is a little bit of pain and agony. Reach out to the team for process and product engagement, knowledge base, that type of thing. And we're more than happy to help. And you can reach out to the team, and we'll also give you the direction for where to go as well. I don't want to shy you away from reaching out to us. We'll definitely do that. We're just trying to really draw some fine lines with what's the best path to get you the help.
I put it in the chat feature as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Our email is in there. Just reach out to us if you are unable to get an answer on who your true point of contacts are with us.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I am
ahead,
also
Alex.
your document guy. So I make the documentation, right, for these products. This is something where I link these in the emails I send out. So if you've never received an email before, just by registering, you will receive one. In the body of that email, you're going to see links to what we call a resource drive. It will be separated depending on our partnership. So just click on whichever one is applicable to you. And you're going to see documents in there. It has been reorganized and updated. You'll be able to go in there Big one is going to be the product guide to give you information on the HELOC. You'll see demo videos, and there are customer facing ones as well as some more information. So we are working to make those more visible to you. We are working to really expand those out. But my belief really is knowledge is power, and educating your borrowers is probably the best path forward, mostly so they go through very seamlessly with the application. So you'll receive all of this information here in the email.
Yeah, and you know, again, to a point that I made earlier, and I just really want to drive this home, setting the right expectation for the borrower is key. And I can't stress that enough for all the loan originators on the call. Don't be afraid of it. In other words, when you're doing the inquiry and when you're having a conversation with your borrower, let them know what to expect. Let them know where their fastest option is for any Q&A or support needs that they may have. Again, the chat function, they'll also have a phone number listed on their portal they can call. And that'll also reduce the amount of inbound calls or emails to you. I think we've drilled that point home pretty good. I do, at a very high level, want to talk a little bit about some enhancements that are continuing to come, mostly from a product standpoint. So as a quick recap, if you haven't noticed, please take note that our rates, and I'm not necessarily a focused on rate guy, but our rates have improved significantly. And we have, even more importantly, really improved, really aggressively improved our rates if our product happens to be in first lien position. So I want to talk about that. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but I want to say it again. I want everybody to think comparison, to think strategies when you're on the phone with your client. If you have clients, a lot of times these are investor type folks that own properties outright, there are no existing liens on the property. Yes, you can get them their cash out by doing a cash out refinance through agency loans, business as usual. What I want to encourage you all to do is compare that to our product in first lien position by going in and running an inquiry and seeing where it prices out. To give you an example, I priced out one best of best, highest FICO, best LTV, CLTV scenario, LTV scenario, I should say, in first lien position. The rate was 6.75% with us. Now, I would tell you that any cash out transaction through agency traditional loan options, probably hard pressed to get there on cash out. And maybe even more importantly, in the industry, because of compliance and things like high cost rules and that type of deal, very, very tough for loan originators to do lower balance first loans. So think of that as an option as well. I've done some comparisons. In fact, I invited Alex and Reef both on a call that I had with the loan originator, diving in and doing a mortgage coach report to really look at side by side these two scenarios. And I'm actually happy to report that the borrower reached back out to the LO after seeing said report and said, yes, I'll go with the HELOC, please. So think about this from a strategy perspective, comparing truly apples to apples. And so first lien pricing, very, very aggressive. Traditional HELOC pricing, both in second and third lien position, also improved considerably. So keep an eye on that. We do get a lot of questions from time to time. Reef and Alex, I think you would agree that sometimes loan originators reach out and say, hey, can you send me a rate sheet? To be clear, we don't send out rate sheets to the lending planet. We never have. We do send out rate sheets to all of your company's points of contact anytime rates change. And that's not on a daily basis, by the way, but every now and again, when we update rates like we did a week or two ago, your points of contact do receive rates. Now, why wouldn't we send rates out to everybody in the world? The reality is, and I just want to say this, in the time it would take you to open the rate sheet, start deciphering the rate sheet, go, well, I think my FICO 720, I think the value is this, making my CLTV this number. And then I look at my adjusters, oh, it's primary, it's investment, it's secondary, oh, it's 1990 fee or 3990 fee, whatever the case is. In that time, you could have already run an inquiry and gotten pricing for the client based on their actual FICO score, based on their actual AVM, literally within minutes. So that's why we don't send out rate sheets. We're actually pretty proud of our rate sheets, but it's like the true magic here is, again, the process. So you don't need a rate sheet. Just go in and run an inquiry and you'll quickly find out. And by the way, If it doesn't work for your borrower, that's cool. You now have the actual soft FICO score and you have an AVM giving you an idea of value. Move on. If that's not the right product for them, or if there's not an offering for them, cool. At least it only took you 2 minutes. And I say 2 minutes. Reef, I think, says it can be done in a minute, but Reef's been doing them for a while. So
It's pretty quick.
yeah.
Get faster and faster as you do
Yeah,
more.
the other thing that we're working on right now, and everyone pay close attention, we will be yelling this from the rooftops as we get ready to go live with this, but it is looking very likely that by month's end, we will be adding a DSCR product offering to our workflow. And Alex, I know that's keeping you pretty busy right now working on the collateral.
It looks really good though. I can't spoil too much about it, but this DSCR project is going to be really big. It is also going to be really easy, and that's what I like about it. And you know, like everything we do, right? It's going to be a system built in, and there is a really nice workflow to it. So stay tuned on that. Like Tim said, I am very busy building out documentation, training decks, videos, all that stuff. But this is something, again, we're not always going to be a HELOC provider. We are building out products. You know, we have a partner or two that has our piggyback right now. And this is something in the future I'm sure we'll have other stuff. So stay tuned. Again, that's why the newsletter to me is important. We'll make the announcements. That's why these webinars are important. I'm sure at some point, Tim, I'll be doing a whole DSCR demonstration on one of these webinars.
Oh, you can guarantee it. I guarantee it. I can already
Keeps me
read into
employed,
your.
that's for
I can
sure.
already look off and tell the future, Alex, and I can
Mhm.
already tell you that we will be doing a webinar on that topic. I want to jump into Q&A here real quick, but again, just drive the point home. Lead portal inquiry tool, quickly find out what the options are. Please, please, please understand the best way to receive support at the loan level. Again, statuses, problems uploading an ID, whatever the case is, there are paths for that exist right now today. We've outlined them. We'll recap that in our follow-up email. Alex, be sure
Oh,
we do that.
absolutely.
And just know that we're expanding and improving in that regard as we sit here and speak. So I'm looking forward to some new enhancements there. And then process, product, success, strategies, education, one-on-one. I need help navigating lead portal, branch meetings. And here's an idea. We have no problem jumping on webinars that you may be hosting. We have no problem attending and potentially even sponsoring any events you may be having. Alex and I, as an example, will be in Texas next week with one of our partners
I'm so excited.
at their sales rally. So we love doing this type of stuff. And so, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to Sales Success for those items. And as we jump into Q&A here, Alex, I don't know if this will work for us, but there was somebody, I keep seeing a thing that somebody has their hand raised, but I'm not seeing it on my end. Oh, there he is right there. Daniel, you brought him up. Daniel.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Love the info that you're sharing with us and hoping you can help. I've got a situation where I got a borrower owns an investment property free and clear, and he's trying to do a HELOC on it. It's worth 130,000. He only needs 60,000, but his credit score came back around a 660, and I can't find a lender that will work with this guy to tap into that equity. What would you guys propose?
Well, and for us, Daniel, we're a 680 minimum FICO on investment and second homes. And so even in our platform right now, you wouldn't receive any offers from one loan officer to another. I think I'm trying to think. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I think I might have to find a different path for that. It can't be Govy because that's all owner occupied. Yeah, that's an interesting one. The FICO's getting you there, Daniel.
Okay, and part of it, he's taking out the equity to pay off some stuff. So
yeah, and in our system right now, let's just play this out. If in fact you had a 685, 690 FICO score, in other words, over that 680 threshold, not only would you most likely see offers, but you would also have the ability to pay off debts now within our portal. So right now, your biggest hurdle to get over is that FICO number. Now, let me just ask you, and we don't have to dive into non-public information here about the borrower, but in this scenario, have you run like a full tri-merge credit? You know what the FICO is, or are you just guessing?
so I ran it through another lender's platform. that did an automated thing for the HELOC, and it just came back saying that it wouldn't qualify because of the FICO. And when I
Yeah.
inquired further, I mean, it told me what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So was that in our portal or a different one?
No, I was in a different. I don't know if I have access yet to your portal.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to, and you can do it while we're on this call, because we'll be wrapped up and you can keep an eye open for this, but send an email to salessuccess@figure.com. And Reef can at least look up and find out if you're in the portal. And if not, I would say, honestly, there's no harm, no foul at this point in trying an inquiry. You might find that our Experian, we go single bureau, our Experian FICO 9, maybe, just maybe, the FICO hit will be there.
Huh. Okay, I'd already sent an email to that email address.
Today?
So yep,
Oh, okay.
within the last 20 minutes.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Perfect.
Reef will jump all over that for you. Thank you, Daniel. Pamela asked a question. It's a good question too. If a property is in an irrevocable trust, would it be eligible? It needs to be revocable. It needs to be a revocable trust. And so really make sure, we don't see a lot of irrevocable trust, but assuming you've seen it and you're looking at it, but it does for us have to be a revocable trust. And then we'll go with a certificate of trust evidencing that, not the full trust, but just the certificate of trust, or we call it a COT. Everything around here is an acronym. So it's a COT.
You're right, TR.
Right. Thanks, AN. And there's another question here. Is there a way to see the credit report so that we can help structure the correct debt payoff and get an approval? At point of initial inquiry, the answer is no. All we see is the FICO score, and we see a total of liabilities, meaning monthly debt liabilities. Now, I am happy to report, and it's already Wednesday this week, team, but even though we can pay off debts within our portal, and yes, to qualify, this week, we're actually getting ready to launch an enhancement that you will all notice that now it's going to bring up all of the debts and allow you, the loan originator, to navigate which ones you want to pay off. Currently, it limits us to 3 to improve DTI to qualify. And so that, I mean, we should probably send out a notice on that, right, Alex, once it goes
Absolutely.
live. But that's an enhancement that we've been working on. I just saw a message yesterday afternoon from our engineering and product team, and that they said they expect it to go live this week. So that'll get us half the way there. And Cliff asks, and Reef, you kind of answered it, but I'll let you answer it again. Is the chat AI, or is there a real human answering the chat?
Yeah, so real human during business hours, those 15 hours a day that we mentioned, so 6 in the morning to 9 p.m. Pacific time. After hours chat, we have been working to make it more robust and more available so people can still get some sort of support when our team isn't working, right? We're not 24 hours, 7 days a week just quite yet. So there is an AI chatbot that does answer a lot of the basic questions and does try to help the borrowers outside of those hours, but you can reach a live agent during business hours.
Yeah, so for the most part, for the overwhelming majority, it's a live person on there, so that's awesome. And Janice asked a great question. She has a HELOC fixed. Property value came in very low, and what Janice is referring to, our system lives and dies by AVMs. There really is no path to challenge an AVM right now today, or use an existing full appraisal, or order a full appraisal. The only time we can order what we refer to as a BPO, think of that, everybody, as a drive-by, is if there were no AVM results, and then the system would trigger you to estimate the value and therefore flag ordering the drive-by. So Janice says the value came in really low. We don't often see that, but it's full transparent. I have seen that before. And we have a waterfall effect to our AVMs. And you could run an inquiry. We have 4 different AVM providers, and you could run an inquiry today and maybe get that 271 value that you're mentioning, Janice. And then you could run an AVM tomorrow. Reef, would that be right in saying that? And it could be a different AVM provider, and you might end up with a different value then as well.
To an extent, yes, there is a 14-day cache. So if you run an inquiry today and your property value comes out at 271, that property will generate the same AVM for the next 14 days. After that, it will kind of refresh. So you can have different values.
And Janice, in your case, you have done exactly what you should do. And that was, we don't have the ability to challenge an AVM, and you have a source which will allow you to challenge the AVM. And so that's it. It didn't work for us. Boom, move on. Right. So there's been discussion. I'll share with everyone. There's been discussion of us rolling that out, the ability to order a drive-by to challenge an AVM. If I'm being honest, I'm a little bit on the fence about it because that could go both ways. I've seen a lot of folks say, oh, my home's worth $1 million. And okay, we challenge it. And guess what? The value actually comes in lower. Now, probably not the case for you, Janice, but we'll see if that ends up rolling out for us or not. So, Casey says, have a client that only needs 40,000 HELOC, but wants a line for 200K. If they do the loan for 200K, but sink back into immediately the 160K in the line, is that a problem? The answer is no, it is not a problem. So what Casey is saying here is the borrower qualifies for 200. Just to be clear, if you and or the borrower were to slide that slider down and say, I only want 40,000, that would be it. That would be their line of credit for all the time they have it. However, if they qualify for the 200, they select the 200, but they only need 40 today, they're going to get all 200 at closing. And yes, they can absolutely pay back that 160. And here's a really cool feature. Automatically, the payment will recast down to the balance of that 40 owed. Did I miss anything there, team?
No, that's perfect.
See, I'm learning.
You're learning. You got this. We're educating you.
So yeah. So if you think that a borrower has a need for that higher amount, maybe not if maybe they don't have that need right now today, be sure to have that conversation with them and say, we're going to go ahead and get all 200. And here's what the strategy will be. After you close, you get all 200, and then you can work it out that way. Oh, Brandy says Resource Drive is in the Figure channel in Teams. So that's awesome. So a lot of our partners do this and do a great job with that. So be sure to always, and again, if you're not sure who your points of contact are, reach out to us. We'll head you down the right path. But a lot of our partners do and do a fantastic job housing those resource materials. Now, the biggest task is making sure Alex keeps them up to date.
We'll see. We'll see how much time I have in a day.
We're getting there. Craig says, regarding a HELOC in first lien position for cash out, do you foresee a time when we could pay off the existing first and get an offer? Craig, I'm happy to report I do see a time where we can do that, and I'll tell you why. We are getting ready to do it with DSCR. It's DSCR when we first roll it out is going to be a refinance. It's going to be in first lien position, and it's going to give us the ability to pay off the existing first lien. And so kind of a testing bed, right? By the way, the why behind some of that or how we're trying to navigate that is what becomes most important there is our ability to not just pay it off, but actually make sure the lien release is handled properly. So that's what's going on now. So yeah, Craig, it's coming. So is there a no freeze period of 90 days when they can't pay down the principal? So I think Craig's real question here, and Reef, I'm going to give this one off to you. I think the question is there a time frame after funding? So let's go back to that 200,000 scenario. After funding, they want to pay back the money. Is there a freeze on a time frame as to how soon they can pay that back?
No, there is not. They can pay it back the day they receive the funds. They like.
Wow. And now my recommendation would be the borrower is going to be, once the loan funds and closes, the borrower is going to be invited basically into a servicing portal. And that's where the borrower sees current balance, payment, so on and so forth. And so that's when I would recommend doing it. So literally not the same day. Is that fair, Reef?
That is fair because sometimes it could take 1 to 2 weeks. This is how I previously understood it. It could take 1 to 2 weeks for that portal to transition to a servicing portal, so you can make a payment in that portal itself. But you can contact servicing, and I think they do have a path. It might be via wire or something, but they might have a path for you to pay it sooner than that if you need to.
I think that the path of least resistance for the borrower in that scenario is just let them know, hey, listen, once you're into your servicing portal, once you've been invited into that after close, then the borrower can navigate that however they'd like. And that happens within days, by the way. It's not like months. So that's not a problem. And then we have a question here. If you take the higher amount and pay it off, will it automatically close if the balance is 0?
Do you want me to take that one?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
So there's two ways you can pay off a HELOC. You can pay it open or you can pay it closed. It does default to being paid open, so you can redraw those funds back out. But if you do contact servicing, you want to pay it closed, then you could do that, and that starts the process for reconveyance and getting that lien removed and having that availability opened up.
Excellent. And Harriet, I think we answered this question for you already. How long after closing does the borrower have to wait to redeposit the funds? Again, think of this from once they're in the servicing portal, the borrower will receive an invite to become part of the servicing portal. Same login and everything that they've always had. It's at that, which is literally days after they've closed and funded the loan. So at that point is when I would recommend if they want to arrange any payback. And Craig, love the questions, Craig. Is there no clawback? And what Craig is talking about is the favorite topic all of us in the industry love, and that's EPO, early payoff concerns. And here's how that works. It's only considered EPO if 90% or more is paid back in the first 16 weeks, call it 4 months. So if someone pays back 50%, no harm, no foul. 80%, no harm, no foul. 91% within that first 4 months, yes, potentially an EPO. There's a lot of different contractual things here between partners. So if you have any particular questions about that, you can certainly also reach out to the team and we can direct you the right path to get the answer. But as far as our EPO policy, that's what it is. And Harriet asks, can the first position HELOC be used for a purchase of an investment property? Not yet. It is on the board. It's on the discussion or the build out, however you want to say that. But right now, all of our HELOC products are not purchase products. All existing refi products. Holy smokes, I think we covered all the questions. Oh, wait a minute. Is the margin is fixed in the original note, not adjusted on future draws? This, I'm going to do my best to explain it, and then we may have to dive into this further, and team, keep me honest here. So remember, all of our product offerings, whether it's 5, 10, 15, or 30 year, are all fixed and fully amortizing. Yes, every borrower's note will show a floor rate and a ceiling rate. And you might say to yourself, well, why is that the case? It's a 30-year fixed note. That's true. But each subsequent draw, again, let's use the 200,000 scenario. I paid back 160,000, my payment goes down, and now I'm the homeowner and I want to go get 20,000 back. There could be a different rate on that 20,000 based on that market that day's pricing, but most importantly, based on their note, meaning their floor rate and their ceiling rate. Now, and that's the case for each subsequent draw, by the way. Now, does that result in 3 and 4 and 5 different monthly payments? No. They will see it in their servicing portal. They'll see, oh, balance $40,000, payment 200. They took another 20, payment 100 for a total of one payment. Team, am I good there?
Yes, exactly. And so that's the big thing to me. We do really give like the benefit a lot of the times they'll be paying down the principal on the draw with a higher rate. Keep in mind though, the original question, it is going to be a margin outlined in their HELOC agreement. Any redraws will be prime plus margin. And then like Tim said, there's a rate floor and rate ceiling. So they potentially can have one payment, multiple draws are in that payment, and different fixed rates. But for that initial draw, that rate will never change. They're all fixed.
Awesome. So as we wrap this up, team, I just want to do a real high level recap here, starting where we started this whole conversation today. And that is loan level questions and help and support. Always, always, always start by driving your borrower back to the chat function or the phone number within their portal. That will save you time as an originator, and it will also be their path to the fastest response. Cool? The next thing is process, product, success, strategies, webinars, one-on-one conversations about how to better engage with the platform. That's us. Make sure you're reaching out to the sales success team. Also, as a recap, if you need to know who your point of contact is with where you're currently originating loans, yes, reach out to us at the sales success team and we will point you the right direction. Alex, you'll be following up with some resource drive materials. We want to encourage everybody start with your own internal resources, and maybe most importantly, set the expectation with your borrower for them to understand where they can quickly get the best results. So we've covered a lot of ground here, team. There's a lot of new things happening, a lot of exciting things happening. Thank you all for attending. Alex will get the recording out. Don't forget about the Sales Success Center, especially the link in there to our YouTube channel. Like, follow, all of that good stuff. And there's some great content in there. Todd's going to squeeze one more in on us here. If a HELOC has a rate of 8.5 and prime is currently 7.5, is it safe to assume the margin is 1? I love where your head's at, Todd, but no, it's not safe to assume that, and I'll tell you why. At point of initial offering, we're not basing the rate off of the prime. We're basing the rate off of a 5-year with a margin equaling the rate. There's some math and some logic going into that. Subsequent draws, however, do get based off of the prime and a margin. And again, that's all spelled out on the borrower's HELOC agreement. And any wait times between draws, or can they draw as many? There are no caps on how many draws you can have, by the way, during your draw period. 30 years, 5-year redraw period. I'll just say this real quick. 15 is 4-year, 10 is 3, and 5 is 2. And those are all the draw periods based on those fixed terms. And there is no limit on how many times they can draw and or wait times between draws. Reef, is there
Yes,
a wait
there
time? Is
7
there?
days.
7 days between draws. Great. Thank you, Alex. I knew I was going to mess one of them up.
It takes time to settle the draws and make sure everything is so there's no
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. The ACH is back and forth and so on and so forth. Totally get it. Makes sense. Listen, again, thank you, everybody. Feedback. Also use sales success. If you see areas where you'd love to see us enhance something, we want to know about it. Our track record is clear there. We've already made tons of improvements this last year, and we're committed to continuing to make those improvements. So keep the feedback coming. I'm a big fan of, if our partners are willing to be a part of the solution, we're willing to listen. If our partners just want to yell and scream at us, yeah, not a lot gets accomplished there. So be a good partner, give us the feedback, help us build this to something even bigger and better than it already is. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Sales success, we are done for now. See ya.
Yeah.